here we go on a Halloween. It's Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway. And myself and co-host Stephen Lewis, along with Dustin Strand and Cole Schill, a couple of NLRA drivers. In fact, we're calling this a championship Dirty Thursday. You can guess which one's a champion, all right? And I'm glad you guys all wore your Halloween costumes, too. That is awesome. You'll get to see them when we get going. You're just not having any bit of this, are ya? That's why I got your mic still turned down. Anyway, our show today is brought to you by Executive Properties. Are you still putting off that project around the house that's been bugging you forever? Do you think you can wait until spring and call a contractor and have the work done ASAP? Well, good luck with that. Executive Properties has openings right now to get that project done. In fact, you can check out their Google reviews. Aaron says Chris and his team did a spectacular job in the damage to my aunt's garage and siding. Kept us up to date on the progress, and the finished product was amazing. Thank you for your professionalism and hard work. Hey, get that project done sooner than later. Call Executive Properties, 701-330-1273. And by the way, they are now taking reservations for snow removal, too, at Executive Properties. Stephen Lewis in the studio with us on a Halloween. How you doing today, bud?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You got any big plans for the day? You going to go egg houses, toilet paper, trees, steal kids' candy or anything?
Yeah, nope, nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Just hockey tonight, probably.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We got the big NLRA banquet coming up on Saturday. We're going to be talking about that. But let's do it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to call or text. Our number here at the studios at Grand Forks Best Source is 701-213-0863, 701-213-0863. And let's get it out of the way. Our daily joke, our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Here we go. Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Why did the ghost go to the bar? Why did the ghost go to the bar? For the booze. Come on. I did have one about 3 old women sitting on a park bench, but I won't talk about that one today. All right. Here we go. Before we get going, I do want to say this. Chad Hoff is no longer with us at River City Speedway. Great guy, but we need another bull ring boy. We need the second half to accommodate me down there at the River City Speedway on Friday nights, occasional Thursday, and occasional Tuesday or Wednesday. You never know. We might even throw some sprinkle in some other days in there too. But hey, feel free to get a hold of me. Reach out to me. Reach out to Stephen Lewis. Anybody that has anything to do with this, and we'll give you a talking to. That is for sure. Okay, here we go. We're going to start on the left first, and we did mention that we're bringing in some champions and stuff now. We got the first and second place drivers here in the NLRA this year, which is the National Late Model Racing Association. Northern Late Model Racing Association. First off, to my left, here he is. He's back. He's like a regular on the show. Dustin Strand is here. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. About yourself?
I'm doing good. This is just like your second home now, isn't it? He's been here a lot. Well, we had him in June, and then you pretty much set yourself up for September, which actually I thought we were going to do it. Man, we were so close.
Yep.
Oh, we were so close. And now you're back again today as NLRA and River City Speedway champion. Congratulations on both. And how are you today?
I'm doing well. It was a pretty unbelievable season, to tell you the truth.
We, when we're looking at what you did, 51 features, 21 wins, 41 top fives, 43 top tens, 20 late model wins. I think those are all late model numbers. That's not even counting. I don't think that counts your A-mod wins, or does it?
That maybe does, but
I thought you had at least 20.
In the Wasota season, I think we only raced like 33 nights with the late model.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And we had 18 wins with that car, which is unreal.
So with MRP, it included he started in Arizona too.
Right.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, 20 in the late model, 2 in the modified. So
That's not a bad year.
yeah, no, it was really awesome.
Are you going to keep that car?
I think so. I'm not going to crush it.
Well, you know how it goes. Sometimes guys want to sell a car, and I'm thinking, well, for one thing, you got a good sales pitch there. If the thing won 20 races last year, what more do you want?
I mean, if somebody showed up with a briefcase full of cash, I wouldn't say no.
That money talks, doesn't it?
It'd have to be pretty full.
Yeah. I know a guy that can always build me another one, right? We're going to go across now. For the first time ever, he is in the studio. It's worth a round of applause. It's Cole Schill. Driver of the number 44 NLRA late model, second in NLRA points, and you are the NLRA Presidente. Is that correct?
That is correct.
How did you ever get buckled into being president or wrangled in?
I think I was the only one to raise my hand.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
No, Brad had talked about he was ready to step away with everything he's got on his plate. And, we had a meeting this spring, and I raised my hand and kind of went from there.
Now, when you talk about Brad and everything on his plate, now I want you to tell us a little bit about you, Cole, because you're not just a guy that lays around and does nothing either. You've got a family and kids, and they're all involved with activities. But tell us about yourself. I don't want to know anything about racing right now.
Yeah, born and raised West Fargo. Have a wife. We've been together for 15 years, married for 8. Erica is their name. And then I have 2 kids, Kason and Ellie. They're 6 and 4. One's in hockey. One's in gymnastics, and we run a dispatch company, and that keeps me busy from 8 to 5, and then we do racing on the side. I build bodies and do all sorts of other stuff, so keeps us busy all year.
If your kids ever play baseball or softball, please let me know, because I got some ins over there for you. My kid runs youth baseball in Fargo, so great to know. You're in West Fargo. Is that what you said?
No, so we actually moved out to Holly, Minnesota now.
Oh, you're at Holly now. You grew up in West Fargo.
Grew up West Fargo, yep.
Okay, and what enticed you to go to Holly?
So my parents bought a place out there in 2018.
Okay.
And then when Dad passed away, it was kind of set that we were going to build a house. They had X amount of property, and we built a house out there after Dad passed away, so we were closer to Mom. I'm about 100 yards from her place.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we just kind of moved out there, and I can do stuff for her or whatever the case may be, and all the racing stuff was out there.
Sure.
It just was that much easier.
It not only can you help Mom, dear old Mom, but you know what? When Mr. and Mrs. Schill need a quick babysitter on the spot, I'm guessing that makes things a little easier,
too. Oh, it's easy. Yeah, we just send them out the door, and they walk right over.
Yeah, and we all know how much Grandma hates having the grandkids over, I don't have time for that. Yeah. Jason Obergon, Bill, are you watching from Arizona? Savannah Strand, he did a great job this year. Nick Curtis, good morning, all, and good morning to all of you. Now, I was going to ask you, you both have kids, young kids, a lot of kids, a lot of young kids, but big plans for tonight. Tell us about your Halloween.
Well, I'm going to be the guy stealing the candy. If you
Perfect.
ask Steven. No.
Yeah.
I got to go through and make sure there's no peanut butter cups or anything like that.
I know, because you'd hate to have a kid, get sick on too many peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Do you guys do the neighborhood thing like we used to do as a kid, or are you going now to, they've got all these places indoors and stuff?
No, we're going to do the neighborhood deal. We have, I had built a trailer for Bill Olson a few years ago, a little people hauler he pulls with his golf cart, so it's got some seating on it.
Yep.
Anyway, he lets me use that at Halloween, and so we load the whole neighborhood up on that and go cruise around and go house to house.
Is that the one that's at the racetrack?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Well, that is cool. Now, yeah, Bill, hopefully you are watching from Arizona. And you with your kids, Cole, do you got any plans for tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna actually venture into Fargo, up to North Fargo. That's where my wife's family's from.
Okay.
And then we have a little niece. Her and the 2 kids, they go trick or treating around the neighborhood and do that for a couple hours. And I'm gonna be wearing my parka and my snow outfit. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I love North Fargo. We've got good friends that are near. In fact, they're probably north of the golf course there, and I love that area. My son, when they first moved there, they were in an apartment right by the Shack. The breakfast spot there.
Yep.
But I've always really, really liked North Fargo, and now, it's like Grand Forks. Everything's moving to the south. Brina Singh is watching. Hey, Brina, hopefully everything's going good down there in Fargo. She's getting ready for some hockey.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, champion, second place. Let's go through the wins or the years first here. First off, NLRA, it was Dustin Strand. Of course, your winner, Cole Schill. Second, Brody Tropfgruben in third. Brad Sang fourth. Shane Edgington fifth. A little bit of a shakeup.
A little bit.
From the year before.
A little bit.
Dustin, 51 features, 21 wins, 41 top fives, 43 top tens, 20 late model wins is what I've got. But again, that might be a little off. But holy crap. I mean, before you've had luck that was not good. You've had good luck. But it seemed like the big races you were dumbstruck. This year was a little bit different for you. Talk about your season in a whole, if you would.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, to tell you the truth. I mean, we had a beginning of the year, we had a little bit of tough luck. One of the first NLRA races, or I don't even know if it was an NLRA race, I was racing for the lead and got tangled up with a lap car. And then a couple weeks later, we blew a motor in hot laps, so we missed tonight. We had it changed and back in time, but there was too many cars there, so we didn't have a provisional to get into the feature. But yeah, no, it was a unreal year, to tell you the truth. It seemed like once we got rolling, it was as long as I didn't screw something up, we were in the hunt. So I mean, it was going really good.
You know, do you ever see the looks on the people's face where maybe you're running a little late and, wow, maybe Strand's not coming today? And it's like, oh, crap, there he is.
Well, I'm usually always running late.
Yeah. So maybe you could just play that a little bit and people are thinking, he's not coming? Wouldn't it be nice if that's the way it was? Cole over here, 50 features, 1 win, 22 top 5s, 36 top 10s. You want to believe in Bemidji?
Yep.
You did pretty good in that Fergus deal too, didn't you?
Yeah, we actually had a pretty good year. I mean, Fergus, I think we won the points in Fergus. I mean, we ran really good. I mean, we were pretty consistent all year. That's kind of what we shoot for. I've never been able to whip off 20 wins in a year, but you know, if a handful is kind of our goal. So,
well, you know, we've seen it before in NASCAR. We've seen it second place in NLRA points. You win in Fergus without a win to be track champion, and we've seen it before where you can be a track champion without winning a race, but it's consistency. And when we look at your numbers, 22 top 5s, 36 top 10s. That's going to win you championships. It's going to get you awfully dang close. And, I mean, even though you might not have the wins he did, you got to call that a very successful year.
Is very good. You know, like our deal is we run for top 3s, and but the car and the trailer, that's a win for us.
Okay. Dustin wants to know, or Robin wants to know, Dustin, are you trying to tie with Ryan Corbett for being late for things? I was sitting there out here watching, and she's like, "What? They're not here yet?"
Yeah, but I was 3 minutes early today. So
I know, and that's what I told Steven.
I was 7 minutes early. I was the first one here. I was like, okay, well, heck, whenever you can say you beat Dustin Strand, that's a good day.
Yeah, because Dustin usually shows up about a minute after the show starts. He's kind of like Chad Hoff hours over here. One thing, and maybe why I haven't had you on the show yet, Cole, and I mean, I've never hardly even talked to you.
No, right. But
you're not around here that often. You started, it seems to me you started coming up to River City Speedway more and more a little bit more recently. Or how often do you race here compared to Fergus?
Yeah, so actually like the first 4 years I raced, so I started in 10, right? So 10 to 14, we were racing Grand Forks weekly.
Yep.
Dad was from here, and then we switched to racing Fergus, and really, it's kind of been the work of Brad and Don Shaw. They kind of worked together a little more to make sure that we were off in Fergus when the NLRA raced in Grand Forks or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, we've just been able to come up to Grand Forks a little more often, and it's been good.
You know, the Schill name has been around a long time, especially with late model racing. Tell us about the family and your dad, and you have a brother too that races, or how does that all work?
Yep. So Grandpa, he was inducted to the Hall of Fame this summer, so he kind of started it. And then Troy, Dad's brother, he's been racing for many years, kind of been on a hiatus the last few. And then Dad, he raced for, was it 94 through 2010, and then he had a year in like 14 that he raced or whatever. So he had all of about, 15, 16 years into it, or a bit more than that, 18 years into it. And then, Lance is a cousin. I have a brother. He doesn't race, but he just, he likes to come when he can. And
okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking for some reason Troy was your brother.
Okay, yeah.
And let me tell you how I met Troy. This was, had to have been 30 plus years ago. I was working, I had just moved to Grand Forks, needed a quick job, so I was working at American Woods. And here, so was he. And I remember we were grunts, and just doing shit work and crappy work. And then he tells me, because we were talking about racing, he goes, "Yeah, I got a race car." I'm like, "Oh, yeah? What do you have?" "I got a late model." I'm like, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, I got a late model." I go, "How'd you afford that?" He goes, "Well, I'm lucky," or something like that. But, and then the rest is history, and then you find out, well, the guy is pretty good. Man, he had a good, nice run there for a long time. So both of your dads raced. Your dad could probably still race, I think. And he had a great career. Do you have any idea how many wins he had?
No, I don't. It was a lot, though.
Yeah,
He won a lot of races over the years.
How about you? Do you have any idea?
It's somewhere in the high 30s, low 40s, somewhere there. So he's kind of like me, pull off a few a year, but he was pretty consistent.
Sure. Obviously we know how you got your start because of the family and everything, but did you start in a late model or go through the history of Cole Schill's racing career?
Yeah, so started go-karts when I was 8 and raced those till I was 14, and then started late models when I was 15. So actually the legal age was 16 at the time.
Okay.
And in order to get me in, we used my brother's social security number
Oh.
to get me in a year early. So I raced the first year, and then when I re-signed up the second year, they're like, hey, your social security number's wrong. So I got like a 1-month suspension or whatever out of it, but it was well worth the first year. So.
Got suspended your first year, and you're not even old enough to get suspended.
Yep.
By the way, Savannah says, replying, talking about Cole, but Dustin too, and they're talking about he did a great job this year. Shack was my Grandpa Rod's favorite place to eat. I love the Shack. If you can get in there, is a whole different deal. When it comes to racing, and I'll ask you this because I've asked you this before, and I've asked you this probably 100 times. If it wouldn't be for running a late model and you had a choice, would you run any other car, and what would it be? Any other type?
Any other type? I really don't know what else I'd run. I don't know if I'd race if I wasn't racing a late model, to be honest. But, there's the best car out there on the dirt. So
Sure.
But, modified would be fun,
Yeah.
right? I've ran a B mod a couple times, and a limited late model, I guess that wouldn't really count as a different class. But, yeah, probably a modified would be a fun class.
Like
to be in.
A-mod?
Yeah, an A-mod.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to Robin earlier, and I could watch A-mods go all day long.
Yeah.
Do you ever had any inkling to wonder what it would be like to run on asphalt?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, it would be fun to run on asphalt, to just give it a try. Any car you put any race car you get behind, you're gonna enjoy doing it because we're racers. So, but yeah, that would be a fun change to try an asphalt deal.
I've never had anybody on the show, but I still don't get it. And if I ever got one of these race car drivers or whatever the drivers are on the show, maybe I'd understand it more. But do you get the whole drift thing? Drifting?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it really racing?
You'll have to have John on for that.
I know John sang, and I was because that's what he used to do. And what are these guys doing out here now? Oh, they must be out politicking. Okay, I'm going to ask you the same thing. If it wasn't for late models and A-mods, would you, if you had a choice, somebody said, Dustin Strand, I want you to come and drive my race car for me. I didn't add that part to you, but it just so it doesn't cost you guys anything. Would you run something different?
I don't know. I mean, I guess where we're at right now, I kind of with Cole, I think the late model deal is kind of the top of the heap. I don't think I'd ever really want to race a sprint car, to tell you the truth. I've worked on some of them, and they don't. There's not a lot around you in that.
No.
Not saying they're not safe, but I don't know.
Shit, my head can barely fit in one of those things.
And kind of all the normal classes, as I grew up racing, I kind of started in a street stock and moved my way through. So we kind of raced 5-6 different classes throughout my life, So.
Sure. Well, let's talk to a guy that's got some sprint car time in the seat
I
under his
literally
belt.
just thought about that. I was just like, wait a minute, I'm the only one that's a sprint car
and,
here.
Yeah, you sure
and I was just thinking about this too, because wondering why your dad hasn't texted yet, wondering why we still haven't got any pictures of your car in there, and I keep forgetting.
Broke his streak. He's mentioned that a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
in a row
so
now.
I think we're gonna have to try to get some pictures from that on. But
Sure.
When you strapped yourself into that thing, I mean, you hot lapped, you did a mechanics race, but what was the difference between that and actually racing for you?
Night and day, because the mechanics race, they didn't really line us up next to each other. We just kind of as soon as we were all fired, we just went or whatever. And standing there in the pit meeting, I was standing next to Amanda, and I looked down, and I was like, oh, I've got a suit on. I haven't looked at the lineup. Like, I'm in this thing. Like, where am I? I know I'm starting at the back, but I should know where, if outside, inside, that kind of thing, But, and then, just being out there learning and trying to stay out of the way when they come roaring by you when you're when you're traffic, you know. So it was night and day different.
All right, so let's talk about this. You and your dad did text us, but have you talked about next year's plans?
I was gonna mention too. Yeah, Ben used to drift, and then I don't know if you remember.
Sen Bolum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Zach Holtstrand, we had him with the Renegades for a couple years there, and he used to drift too. And I felt like it helped him early. He was one of the first ones. Him and Adam were the first ones that could really get it kicked out wide and go through the corner like that. But so yeah.
All right, Jason Berg. Good morning. By the way, I heard some things too. You heard anything about Greenbush?
They just have a new Facebook page, Greenbush Race Park LLC. If you want to go on there.
Well, it sounds like there's a shakeup up there.
A little bit, just more of a retool, if nothing
Okay.
else. So
All right, and we will be talking about that coming up later
but they're full steam ahead. They're just getting things ready to go for next year.
So next year, have you thought about, or has your dad thought about? You going in that car more? Your dad's schedule and
kind of kicked the tires with it there last week. I talked to him a little bit, and we'll see. But I do keep saying though, it's just like it's one of those things. I still got to shoot and do all those other things and whatever. So whenever it works out, like it'll never be a full time kind of thing. But,
right.
So
all right, Corey Paul, morning everyone. Kim D Young, I rode in Ben Solom's Corvette drift car, pretty fun. Jason Berg, morning, Jason, and. I think we'll maybe take a little break here.
Okay.
I tell you what, Dustin Strand, NLRA 2024 champion, River City Speedway champion, Cole Schill, second in NLRA points, Fergus Falls track champion. They are in the studio today. We will be back with more after this. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done right now. Well, when it comes time for an oil change, stop into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You know, most changes are done in about 15 minutes. Valvoline Instant Oil Change does more too. Tranny and coolant flushes, tire rotations, and batteries. And included in your oil change, they're going to top off your fluids. Check your tires, battery, lights, wipers, and cabin air filter too. And you get discounts for fleets and the military. You know, they can text and email invoices and coupons and mention Grand Forks Best Source and get $10 off your oil change. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. They're open Monday through Saturday with no appointment needed. Pickup and delivery is also available if you live in Grand Forks. And Valvoline Instant Oil Change is now hiring. If you'd like to join their team as an assistant manager, customer service rep, or lube tech, stop in to find out more. Valvoline Instant Oil Change for a complete oil change and more. They're at 3325 South 38th Street, or call them 701-780-8462. And make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. Oh boy, welcome to Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway, and we have got a studio full again today. There we go, get rid of that echo. I can turn these all up again. Stephen Lewis, the co-host of River City Speedway. How does that, you like that little ring there, co-host of
I
Dirty
guess so.
Thursday?
Kind of more official now.
Yeah, that's worth a round of applause. How's it going for you so far in here?
I mean, I was feeling good about it, just, you know, being Chad's backup or whatever. It's almost more of one of those things that went to backup goalie to starter now, you know. So, but no, just like it's just, once it becomes a routine, it's nothing you really think about, you know. So.
Yeah, it's not too bad. And you, the first timer in here, are you okay so far?
Yeah, it's great. I was kind of wondering when the day was going to be, you know, come where we could come up here and do this. So,
and I'm going to be honest with you, it's so hard to ask somebody that's got I mean, basically you're wasting half a day, you know, to come down here or to come up here. And I have a hard time, you know, we've toyed with the idea of changing this show to a Friday. So maybe we'd be able to get some of the guys in, but odds are if you're pulling in Friday and you've got time to come here before you've got stuff to do at the racetrack too, if we do it Friday. And plus, what do you get to rhyme with Friday?
Yeah, right.
You know, it can't be anything dirty. I mean,
that short list I threw together for you or whatever, I tried to think of as many new people we haven't had, and I tried to keep it away from like Zoom, but I was like, I wanted him on even if we had to Zoom him in because all the things. Like, we haven't talked to him being one of our top racers and now being with the NLRA.
Right.
So.
And as soon as you say that, once you know it, we're going to be zooming next week. We got Austin Hunter next week, so we haven't had him on the show yet either, and he's a track champion.
Right.
So that'll be a good one. When we talk about trick or treating, Dad, do you dress up?
Yep, I'm gonna be Luigi.
Art.
Like Tate said, Luigi.
He's really good. If you need to talk to him afterwards,
He's the costume coordinator.
Well, he's
I was at the trunk or treat last weekend here at the mall. I was Wario. I was evil. Some kids gave me some dirty looks. I don't know what was up with that.
Well, who were you last year?
I was good old Mario last year.
Okay. Yeah, he does really good. And how about you? You got to dress up?
Yeah. I'm gonna. I might be Uncle Eddie tonight. So
Uncle Eddie.
off of the Christmas movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Comes out of the.
Christmas vacation?
Yes. Yep.
There you go. Christmas vacation.
Yep. Walking as Uncle Eddie tonight. So.
That'll be a good one. I was thinking about, we had fire suits in here for just about a whole year. Dobmeyer's, a bunch of his old ones, and I thought about putting one on, but damn, it's hot in here. Do you imagine sitting in here with a fire suit for an hour?
I was toying with an idea. I was going to try and get a Northwest Tire polo and like a bald cap. I was going to come as Chad today, but I couldn't get any of that stuff to work out for me. But
That would have been
yeah,
hilarious.
so I just decided not to shave and be the old me.
Yeah,
I
there
guess.
you go.
So-
I thought I had posted a picture today. My wife and I have dressed up a couple of times. Once was Ozzy and Sharon, and then a couple of years ago, I don't know if you guys know who Johnny and Moira are. Schitt's Creek, if you've ever watched Schitt's Creek.
Okay.
But Johnny, he's got this humongous black bushy eyebrows, and I actually had a fake mustache for each eyebrow. These things are so big.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun to do that once in a while. Okay, winter plans. You going to go do any racing this winter? Are you going to kick back? Are you going to start ice fishing? Are you going to go ice camping? Any of that kind of fun stuff?
Well, I'm not much of a fisherman, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think we have any racing plans this winter as of now. But you never know. Usually that's a few hours before I got to leave, I make that decision.
Sure.
But,
Sure.
but no, we're not going to do any winter racing, I don't think.
Okay, got a daughter going to be racing sleds this year again or not?
Yeah, I don't know if they will or not. She kind of, I don't know.
She's
if
turning
she's-
into a girl now?
Not totally. She
Okay.
still likes to ride snowmobile and whatever, but we'll see if they want to go a few times. We won't do anything real committed there, but if they want to go, they usually have a race in town here. I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll do that one and whatever. So
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it down there, what they've been doing
I seen they were working on it, but I haven't been over there yet.
Oh yeah, it's all nice now. It's all curb and gutter, and they're gonna plant stuff, and they've got a double boat ramp side by side, and they're gonna have a dock in the middle. It's gonna be a catfisherman's dream. I can't wait for the first tournament. What about you? Do you do any winter racing at all, or are you basically scheduled around your kids and hockey and things like that?
Yeah, a little bit of that. I mean, the last 2 years we went to Arizona, did the Arizona deal, and I know they just put it out there that they're doing it again this year. So we'll see how work's going and everything like that. And if we can be ready, we'll go. If not, we'll stay home and enjoy the winter.
And then I know when you guys do the Arizona thing, you almost have to, if you can, include the family to make it kind of like a vacation / racing vacation, if that makes any sense.
Racecation.
Yeah, there you go,
yeah.
a racecation. Is that what you would do?
Oh, for sure. Yep. Me and the wife, the kids, we all drove down there, and like last year we hit Vado on the way down. Went and watched the last 2 days of the Wild West Shootout, and then ventured over. It's about a day's drive from there to Arizona, and finished that off Monday. And then you pretty much just hang out and do some racing, go check some stuff out with the kids, and it's a good time.
We just got a text from Rachel Minsky. Love the hat. That is awfully cool. I was looking. I know we've got his die-cast car in
right
here.
right there on the fridge.
Okay, and I thought we had another picture, but maybe
It
I
is.
don't.
Bobby's is up over there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Got the big banquet coming up on Saturday. Talk about it. Where's it at? How much? What's going on? Because these banquets, it's usually not just a banquet. You usually try to get all the guys together and have a meeting. I don't know. The guys complain, they bitch, they moan, they talk about things that they might want to talk about. But are they really bitch sessions? And what all gets accomplished to start one of these banquets with a meeting?
Yeah, so meetings at 3:00. That's just for all us members and stuff. and basically we just go over, our procedures and stuff like that, and make, we do a vote. It's the NLRA is a driver run club, so any change in format or procedures or whatever the case may be, where we go, what we do, it's all voted on in the club. So that'll be on 3:00 for us members, and I mean, it might be a little bitch session, little laughs, cries, whatever. So it should be good.
Have you ever had one that got out of hand where somebody was just like, geez, dude, just shut the hell up and sit down?
Man, I don't, not in my tenor, but I don't know. I know there'd been a couple back when Dad was president that maybe got a little fired up. So.
Well, not everybody's happy 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. It never fails.
can't do
But
it.
the one thing is usually when there is somebody that is made president, it's usually somebody that even if they don't say anything, like you said, well, I'm the only one that raised my hand. But how many people bitched when it was announced you were going to be president? Meaning that I think that they picked a good one. I think that they are confident in what you can do. And do you feel the same way? And are you confident?
Yeah, I'm confident. Brad's been helping a lot. He's kind of like the vice president. He's just giving me pointers, and there's things I didn't know, and it kind of worked out really good this summer. It's kind of like a transition deal. So
Sure.
and that was really helpful. I mean, I knew stuff, but obviously you're not going to know everything. Just leading up to it. So that was really good, and now we can. We'll have a fall meeting, and hopefully it just goes better from there. So.
And it's not really something that takes a lot of your free time away, is it?
No, I mean, it takes some time. You got phone calls, and we're trying to do like contingency programs and stuff like that. So you're reaching out to different sponsors and just trying to get that for the guys. That's the biggest thing. So
Now, you don't have to say it right now, Cole, but is there whenever there comes a new president or new leadership, there usually comes some new other things along with it. Now, have you been working on trying to get, when you talk about, like incentives and things like that and side sponsors, have you been working on that, making any phone calls yet?
yeah, we did that this spring, and really I didn't take over. It was middle of April or whatever when we had the our meeting there, and at that point you're behind the eight ball anyways. So I mean, I got a few things for the guys, and hopefully it goes out good. And then, we got stuff lined up for next year already. And, I think the biggest thing, our guys, they put in a lot of time into this deal. And I think the more we can have for them, the better it'll be. And hopefully just keep everybody on the tour all year. So
Do you find, do racetracks care about the the drivers and their complaints or their issues, or do they brush it off? And if it's something you don't want to answer, you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every racetrack cares. They all care that we're coming in the door. They care all their fans, everything like that. I don't know. I guess I haven't personally dealt with everybody, right? But for everybody that I've dealt with, it's been pretty good.
Yeah,
they love us being there, and they want to do everything they can to make sure we're taken care of.
Absolutely. And the thing is the reason why I asked you that, Cole, is because we always get these naysayers on social media, the keyboard warriors, and they'll complain and bitch and moan, and they'll act like, well, this isn't just coming from me. This is coming from half of those guys out there. And you could go take every one of those guys one by one and take them off to the side and go, really? Is that how you feel? And they'd say, well, no, that's not how I feel. But you've got to have those people because since they're, they have to use the keyboard to get their point across, they got no backup. So they got to act like they do have backup.
So do you feel like I know my mom was secretary in NOSA in the 90s or whatever, and I feel like having grown up, watched her do the things that I ended up doing or whatever, I feel like, Howie was president. Juanita's done a ton over the years. You feel like that was an advantage coming into this deal?
Oh, for sure. I was pretty young when Dad was president. He was president, I think it was 12 to 20, right? Or 12 to 19, 2012 to 19. And, there's things that I vaguely remember, but I wasn't involved. I mean, I was just a young kid. I wanted to run around, whatever. So, but I think it definitely goes to help a little bit. He did a lot for the sport and what he taught me over the years. So that just kind of goes with my values, and hopefully I can just push that on to the NLRA some more. So
Sure.
Okay, this is what I want to get to. We quit talking about the banquet. So the meeting's going to be at 3 o'clock. And then what happens after that?
So happy hours 5:30 to 6:30. Dinner's at 6:30, and then awards to follow.
Okay, now I know you were probably supposed to order your meals or you get your tickets, whatever, but can people still show up, buy a ticket, and enjoy this banquet and just have fun?
You know, that's a good question. I don't. Lori Consi's been kind of dealing,
Okay.
and Robin, they've been kind of dealing with most of that stuff with the Legion. So
Okay.
I don't know if it's something where they had to pre-order the meals and then etc. But I don't see why it would be any problem where someone could show up and have some drinks. And
Really? Right. Show up and buy John and Stephen Lewis a bunch of drinks.
Yeah, might as well.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Taco Bravo Racing watching. Timmy Schwans, thanks for checking in here, Tim. Nothing wrong with your costume today, John Roberts. Looks like you put some thought into it. I had to put some thought into getting my ass out of bed this morning, Schwani. It was went to Cavalier last night for a funeral of a very good friend of mine, and it was not a good night, but we are here. Wanted to talk a little bit more about your dad, Cole, the Howie Schill Memorial. And I mean this, and I don't want to. I'm glad we got it here this year. I don't want to sound like we should have it all the time because we shouldn't. But it was, to me, a blessing this year.
Yeah.
That's got to tell you something about your dad when they start naming races after him. But how cool was that for you?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, it got rained out in Fargo, the 2-day event we had for that, and we had honestly kind of went through a few different options to try to, because we kind of put it on, and we kind of were trying to figure out some options where to go with it, and realistically, it was Grand Forks was the I shouldn't say most convenient, but you start looking at later dates and it doesn't really work, and so that was we talked to Brad and Chris Steppen, and they said they would love to have it.
Good. Somebody with one of your fan club members is there. Got the Cole Schill shirt on there. That's awfully cool.
This morning.
Yep.
And I didn't want to sound selfish.
Yeah,
Is
no.
the word I was looking for. Ryan Gustafson says worked well for everyone. I thought it did. I thought it brought a lot extra to the prelude.
For sure.
I mean, what do we call 34? I think 34 heat races that night.
Yep.
But it felt to me like it was more now. It wasn't just a prelude. It wasn't just, okay, this is leading up. Now there is something there. And for race fans, racetracks to pay homage like that to your dad, that's got to be awfully dang cool.
Yeah, it's very awesome. Every year that we do this deal for him, it's a special year, and this was the fourth. So, not that it sucks. It sucks it got rained out in Fargo, but he was a full-time guy in Grand Forks, and for it to be on the fourth year, unfortunately, to get rained out and we move it to Grand Forks is pretty special. So,
I wanted to ask you this. We were talking about your wins, Dustin. You think about all the race cars that are out there that you build, your company builds. It's a chance for you to tout your stuff now, to brag yourself up. Do you have any idea how many times your cars won this year?
No, I guess I don't. I don't have a tally.
I bet you it's got to be. You don't know?
It would take me a minute. I could figure it out, but
It's to the point where people all know about Millennium chassis. It's duh. I mean, but yep. Do you think it'd be safe to say 100 this year?
I probably easy.
I mean,
would think,
that might be
here
a
and-
low number.
between here and Winnipeg and Devils and Greenbush.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, because I've seen his car at your shop many times on a Friday. I'm making the trip down, but I think our guest next week, does he drive one of your cars?
Yep, Austin Hunter.
That's what I thought. How many guys have you seen? You don't have to name guys or anything, but were in different cars and came to you and said, "I want one of your cars." A lot of guys have switched vehicles, switched race cars because of the Millennium, I believe. Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, it does some, but we work on everybody's stuff too.
Right,
if
right.
Somebody brings me a different brand of car or whatever, so.
Okay, if somebody wants to buy a Millennium chassis car for next year, would they have time? What do they got to do? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just get a hold of me and we can make it happen.
How long does it take you to build a car? If you were in a hurry.
Well, it all depends. Really, the frame deal is what we're kind of backwards in right now. I'm not efficient enough in that department. That probably takes the longest out of the whole equation. But, it's it's probably a month deal from start to finish.
Sure. And when you say maybe not efficient enough, or is it too efficient? Because I know you well enough to know you're not going to cut corners. You're not, it's not going to be half-ass.
Well, it seems, like a lot of the bigger chassis companies now, everything is CNC bent and fit, so the pieces are sitting on the shelf and it goes in the jig and gets welded together.
As long as you got a pry bar and a hammer, it'll fit, right?
Everything that when we're building the cars, every piece is hand bent and out of the notebook, whatever, so it takes a little more time, and that's why I think if we're gonna continue to do that, we maybe need to go forward and get in. I don't know what it's going to cost to do that, but that's, the last few years we've also got hooked up with another chassis builder, that Mullins Racing chassis. Started with just his frame, and then we do our own stuff to it and go from there. But so I don't know where we'll go forward, but we got a couple Millennium cars to build this winter, it sounds like, and
good. Back in my Articad days, we used to say, we'll make it fit with a sledgehammer and a pry bar, but I still love those ditch pickles. I don't care how many pry bars or sledgehammers you got to use. Kaylee Elizabeth, how lucky are all of us that have Millenniums to have the local support and knowledge he provides. Pretty incredible the season he's had on top of supporting his needy customers. And thanks, Kaylee. And that's kind of what I was getting at. I've seen Austin at your shop many times on a Friday afternoon before heading to the racetrack. Friday has got to just be hell for you.
Yeah, some days are crazy and some aren't, but it seems like, Friday afternoons usually get a little crazy. People stopping in for gas or fuel or tires or whatever, or.
So do you have to be locked and loaded and in the car or in the trailer and everything Thursday before you get up Friday, or do you do that right away Friday morning and not even answer the damn phone so people think you're not there?
Well, that would be the smart thing to do, but usually I'm loading my car about 5:15 to go to the track, but
I can remember years ago when Dobmeyer's shop wasn't out at his house, and there were times I knew he was there, but there was no vehicle. And he would say he'd park inside just because people would come and hang out, and he wouldn't. And you're the same kind of guy. If you're really deep into something, and I came to visit, and I'm hanging around and kind of getting in the way, you're not going to really say anything. You're not one of those guys that's going to go, John, I got a shit ton to do. Get out of here, please. And I mean that in a good way.
Usually my wife comes out and kicks him out. One
does she?
One day she grounded me. There was a bunch of people bothering me half the day, and she finally came out and said, hey, you guys got to leave. He's got an appointment. So she locked the doors, took my phone. Well, Dustin's unavailable for the rest of the day.
I know the one time she greeted me with, something about like, the riffraff's here now or something like that. But I love your wife. I think she is so cool. Who helps you with your car and your season and your year? And I mean, your kids are awfully young. I'm sure they're maybe starting to get into it, but I don't know how much the wife has to do with your race team, but who all helps you? Time for you to give them some shout outs here.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a lot of times just me, the wife, and the kids. I do a lot of the stuff in the back myself, like on the weekday, and she comes, she can do about anything really. Other than mechanical work. She can do tires, she can do fuel, she can do check bolts and grease, JB, all sorts of stuff. So honestly, if it wasn't for her, it'd be pretty tough to do it by myself,
Now, is your shop at home, or do you have to go somewhere for your race shop, or do you got everything right on site?
Yeah, we got it right on site.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It's huge. I mean, you don't have, I can walk 45 seconds away, and the kids can be with me, and they can do whatever. If they want to go home, they can go home. They can go eat. They can do whatever. So, there's lots of advantage to it being right in your backyard. So
now, you said you've been with your wife for quite a while. You were with each other long before you got married.
Yep.
Did she obviously know what she was getting herself into when she met Cole Schill?
Yeah, I don't think so. First couple of years, she probably didn't realize what it was going to be. But at this point, she probably wouldn't trade it for the world.
Right. And do the kids come with you pretty much all the time, or do they stay home? I mean, it depends on if certain things happen. Maybe kids are sick or they got something going on. But do you try to bring the family with you on race nights?
Every night, unless the kids want to stay at grandma's for a night.
Sure.
That's one thing. But I mean, I don't think they missed a race this year.
And I'm guessing the kids are the least of the worries on the ride home. I would imagine they are probably out cold before you even get down to Gateway Drive.
Oh God, yeah. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I mean, there's been nights where they're spunky all the way to Fargo. So it just I suppose it depends on who gave them sugar that night.
Yeah, how much candy did they get in the candy toss?
Yeah.
Now, your kids, I mean, it's so funny because your kids are so obvious who they are. They're usually in orange. They're clones of your wife. And are they the same way? I mean, I know we see them at the track all the time, but are they usually out at the end of the night, or do they make it all the way to home because you don't live that far away?
Yeah, well, no, they're usually make it pretty late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that the only time that they get to stay out like that?
Yeah, they don't have real strict bedtime. They probably should go to bed earlier than they should.
Yeah.
They do. My youngest, he's really a sleeping problem.
Oh, really?
His bed is our bed. He sleeps
Oh,
between
yeah,
us.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. See, I'm one of them guys. I got a sleeping problem too. I can fall asleep standing up, but then I go to bed and I can't sleep. Who helps you?
we got, my family's a huge part of everything we do. My wife does a ton. And Nate Davis and Matt Lunsky help me out a ton at the track. My dad puts in a lot of hours. And, really, my whole family and crew, I couldn't do it without them. Just like he said, I think if they wanted to be done, I'd be done because
Sure.
I wouldn't want to do it
Exactly,
myself.
Yeah.
When you mentioned Matt Lunsky, I've been meaning to ask you this for a long, long time because I know a ton of Lunskys. I know plumber Lunskys. I know carpenter Lunskys. I know. Which one does this guy come from?
Well, right now he's the injured Lunsky.
Okay.
He's got his shoulder fixed.
But I mean, he doesn't come from the plumbing family or anything like that, does he?
I don't think so.
Is he
no.
from Grand Forks?
Yes.
Okay. Because there's a few different ones, and
I think there was a Lunsky that raced super stock for a while, though.
Yeah.
Gary.
that could be because I'm actually officiating a Lunsky wedding
Okay.
end of January, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, I just
You're a preacher too now.
no, I'm not a preacher, but I do want to give a shout out. I did marry a couple of people this past weekend. Jade Hastings and his lovely wife. So I want to give them a little bit of a shout out there. Jade and Bryce, that was a fun wedding. We had a good time. I love doing race car driver weddings. It's a blast. You got anything you want to add?
So I was gonna, just since we haven't had Cole in before, I just wanted to see what your biggest win is. Ask you what your biggest win in your career was. I think I know what it is, and I've got a follow up for it if I'm right. But biggest win of your career?
Yeah, biggest win would definitely be the Stampede. We did that back to back, 2019 and 2020. So that was pretty special. Mm-hmm. So
And
That would be.
And I think was it the first one? Howie hadn't run in a couple years or whatever. He ended up jumping in the other car, got a top 5 out of it, I think. So that was pretty cool too.
yeah, so 2019 he ran our backup car, and I think the last race he ran was like 2014. So it's been like 5 years, and yeah, he jumped in and finished 5th by about 2 inches to Brody Troftgruben.
Wow.
4th. So yeah,
Wow.
Yep.
Is there a track that you're just dying to win at that you haven't won yet?
that I haven't won at yet. So I'm trying to think of a track I haven't won at. Like we've
That's
won-
not a bad problem to have,
I
by
know,
the
right?
Actually,
way.
a good point. I can't think of one.
Yeah, so like we've won Devil's Lake and Greenbush and Grand Forks, Fergus. We won at Bemidji this past summer, which was the only time we'd been there. Fargo we won at. Jamestown we've won at. Alex we've won at.
Gonna have to start looking at Mandan or something.
I
like.
know. Well, we got to get some shows out there, I guess. But honestly, yeah, I mean, Mandan would be a cool place to win at. My wife's family's from Mandan, and we usually have a bunch of people that come out to that deal. So that'd be pretty cool to win out there if we got a show out there. But yeah, I mean, around here, I don't know if there's been
Everything
a track.
up and down, you pretty much
Yeah.
checked off. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ryan says he said he would have finished 4th, but was too busy watching Cole take the checkers. How about that?
Yeah, he was too.
Yeah. How about you? Is there a track that just your snake bit at?
I don't know. Well, one track I probably struggle at is Fergus Falls. I have won there before, but seems like I just I don't run very well there for some reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Must be the wall that spooks him.
Yeah.
There you go. We got somebody saying Cedar Lake, maybe Cole.
Yeah,
Heather.
the one there.
There you go. Oh, wow.
Third, I think, was the best one there.
Okay. Thank your sponsors. I mean, they might be last year's sponsors, but you can never thank them enough.
Yeah, no, couldn't do it without R&H Landscape Supply, Asplin Excavating, Lions Electric, Babcock Construction, R&H Landscape Supply. Let's see here. Trying to.
You didn't pull out your cheat sheet like everybody else did.
I didn't know, and I don't do it enough. One time a year doesn't get me enough practice, So, Anderson Shoe Repair. Let's see, Performance Auto, Mars Race Cars, CMD Race Shocks. Grandpa, he does about 90% of my motor work.
Oh.
Harlan Brichel only does the other 10%. Really couldn't do it without any of the guys.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Dustin, your turn, buddy.
Yeah, we got a lot of great people that help us out too. Walhalla Building Center, Keewatin Truck Service, Friggy Farms, Q&Z Plumbing and Heating, the Bun Lounge, Shocker Hitch, Highside Truck Accessories, Generation Salon. Geez, I didn't bring my cheat sheet today either, so I'm probably going to forget some people. Sturdy Race Engines does all the does my motor work. Oh yeah, look at this. Now we got it. Oh, Kicking Up Country Music Festival. They came on this year and helped us out. That was a pretty cool deal. Bemidji Welder Supply, Shocks by Hammers does all my shock work and our customer stuff. Cars Grain Service. Just a lot of great people, and like I say, I couldn't do it without my wife and my dad and Nate and Matt for all the hours they put in on the car, and appreciate everybody. We just have a great following too. We have a ton of people that come to watch us race and help us support us, and appreciate everybody.
I take it that your wife's name is Erica. I knew I should have made him a cheat sheet, she says. Now, is it easier? Now, you guys have been doing this for a long time. Everybody knows who you are. I would imagine, listening to you in Victory Lane, you're not here enough, but these people got a lot of shout outs this year. Your sponsors, I think, for the most part, have been with you for a long time. I'm not sure about you, but I'm imagining because you guys are both good enough. Everybody knows who you are. Does it make getting sponsorship easier for you? Or when you can say, well, geez, look, I'm a track champion over here. I got second in NLRA. You guys know who I am. I've won at every racetrack around here. Does it make a difference or not?
Probably sometimes, but sponsors are always hard to come by. You appreciate the ones you got, and they, a lot of them, they just keep coming back because they know how much it helps you and what it does. It can help them too. So
sure,
but it definitely make it's definitely tough to get new sponsors. Just out of the gate to try to help yourself. So
I know sprint cars, for example, I know some guys that lost some big sponsorships in the last couple of years, and it's a huge deal. But is that something you worry about, losing like one of your big ones, or are you comfortable with them?
Yeah, I honestly don't have any like really huge dollar amount sponsors. We have like all the people that we have on our cars are people we've met through racing or at the track or through work or whatever that kind of built a relationship with, and they've, kind of come on to help us.
And that's why you have too many sponsors to remember them all. Yeah. That's not a bad thing to have, bad problem.
Honestly, we need all of them to make it work, and I appreciate each and every one of them. And like you say, it's just kind of a deal. We're all kind of friends of ours, and we've built relationships over the years. And it's not, I don't really have many sponsors where it's maybe a contract deal where I go to a business and say, hey, do you want to sponsor a race car?
Here's my resume, that kind of thing.
And it's tough. Like at one point, I was at that point trying to go out and we're always looking for sponsors, but it's tough. You walk into a place of business and ask them, do you want to sponsor my race car? Well, somebody that's not affiliated with racing and goes to the races, when they hear race car, they probably, they've seen their neighbor had a demo car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you want? Here's $43.
Yeah, or they think you're NASCAR, This has nothing to do with racing, but we all know it's coming up early next week. I myself am I've had enough. I've had enough of the election season. Are you ready to vote? You know where you're going, which way you're going?
I guess.
You don't have to tell me, but you're ready to vote? And how about you?
Yeah. We're just ready for it to Ready for it to be done. Yeah. All the stuff you listen to every other day, it's just gets annoying. So
Yeah. Heather says Nolan had a bucket of chicken and pizza sponsor. Oh, and beer sponsor. And I've known a lot of them. Every week, a bucket of chicken, a pizza, and a case of beer. And that's not a bad sponsor to have. I know a few of those guys that got the beer sponsors. While the BO team, they've got the sponsor for the food.
Yeah, Southgate.
Yeah, and it's really good stuff. I'm voting for garbage. County Commissioner's position in Grand Forks is huge for the track this year. It is. It is. Remember that, folks. Do your research on that, folks, according to Savannah Strand. And that's what I tell everybody. You know what? It doesn't take that long to research this. What you got to do, too, is you got to think about the last 4 years. You think about the 4 years before that, and think about the 4 years coming up. A lot on the plate.
It's also important to look up where, like, if you're anything like it is on the east side, they've moved me anywhere from the north end to, I live about 3 blocks away from City Hall. Sometimes they've got me up on the north end at the high school or over at Our Saviors or whatever, and it seems like it switches every year. So, yeah, do your research and do your down ballot and all of that.
You know, what the thing is for us, Stephen, on the Minnesota side, it's going to be a lose-lose, win-win, or a win-lose, because let's put it this way, if Trump wins, we're stuck with walls for 2 more years.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, you know, too.
Yep.
And I don't think any of us want that, but we ready to wrap it up? You got anything else?
Kind of follow up from a little earlier question. You mentioned, tracks you're snake bit at, but is there a track for Dustin and Cole that you haven't been to yet, like a bucket list track that you want to make it out to?
Like, is that locally or like just
Either
anywhere?
or.
I guess just overall. Yeah, overall. Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
I've always wanted to race at the Lucas Oil Speedway. I've just always
That
seen it on
outside of
TV,
Kansas
and
City?
It sounds it's Wheatland, Missouri. I
Wheatland,
believe.
Missouri. There it is. I've driven by there a few times. Yeah, that would be fun.
I've heard a few people call it the Ingolstadt of racetracks.
Yeah,
so it's like
well,
it's very, very.
They get all the
upkept
TV
and
shows
neat and tidy, and
are
so.
there all the time. How about you?
You know, there was a bucket list track we raced at this year. We went down to Huset's for that.
Did you really?
Yeah, for the silver deal, and they had that North Durf Memorial deal, and that was really cool. I mean, you don't know what you're really seeing until you get up personal with it. That's a pretty cool venue there.
You know, when it comes to sprint cars, I haven't actually talked to someone who's run a late model on it, I don't think yet. And it's just like, to me, it seems like it's it's a sprint track. So did it seem like you got that huge berm on the inside and the wall on the outside, and it's super narrow? Like, was it... how did you take to it?
It was narrow, but it raced wide. I mean, they had it nice and racy. I think if if the late models come, they knock that berm out and let us run down on the wall, I think it'd be really, really fun. It's definitely a little high side dominant, but, that's kind of a sprint car deal.
I feel like, as I see with the late model street stocks when they're down there or whatever, they could sometimes, if they get too low, they turn into a snow plow.
Yeah, pretty much.
So-
Yeah. Heather McDonald says Eldora. And everybody, I think, thinks about Eldora. I mean, you got to dream about it. It's got to come through your head once in a while. Daryl Works, one of our Canadian friends, they hang with your guys now. Now I go hang with these Canadians in Little Canada, and there's more orange shirts sitting in this group now than there ever has before. Good morning and great show, boys. Miss racing already. Happy Halloween. We all miss it already. Deanne, love the hat, Stephen. Pretty sexy.
I was about to say, I was zeroed in on that one. I was like, you skipped that one. Can we mention that one real quick?
Yeah, there you go. I was going to get there. And I want to give a shout out to those guys. I did get lucky enough. We were off for half the day for Beats. I got to go down there and spend a little bit of time with them in their Wednesday group there.
We are
it was a lot of fun.
That this week we'll be caught up at the shop and start making the Wednesday deal more
Sure.
often there. So.
I tell you what, I walked in the door.
That's the dolly down at the Petro, by the way.
Yep. And I tell you what,
Since we're doing
I walked in the door, and Deanne just treated me like it was awesome. I had a great time. I wish I could have spent there more. Corey Lawson, I went to Eldora this year. Love it. I did follow your social media when you were down there. I know you've got to get back. You got to get back. Everybody's got Halloween. Everybody's got kids, and everybody's got things to do. I don't. Do you lock your door and shut the lights off, or and pretend you're not home, or how does Halloween work for you?
We don't have, we tried to keep it going in our neighborhood, but in the middle there's not really too much of that goes on anymore, so we really don't put much into it
I'll have my
anymore,
neighbor They've got a young daughter, and if anything, sometimes the niece and nephews might show up with their kids, but yeah, it's pretty quiet out
I
there.
take the point on the way over here or whatever, and like Reeves and that, you'll see they're all
Oh, yeah.
decorated up and whatever. My neighborhood's pretty much just not,
Yeah.
you know.
It's a good night for me to stay
Yeah.
home. I like that. I tell you what, it's been unreal having you in here, Cole. And I'm sorry it took so long to get you here. I'm going to get you back. I'm glad it wasn't an issue. I'm just like, yeah, he said he'd come. I couldn't believe it. You are a regular. We should just put Dustin on that chair right there. I wish you guys a great Halloween with your kids, because this is a great time to spend with your kids. A great off season. Hockey, if you're ever in this area for any games or anything, please reach out to us.
Yeah.
We'd love to go watch your kids play. I'm a hockey fanatic. I can't wait for the season to get started. And let's go whoever you're voting for on Tuesday. I think we're all on the same page, maybe. But and have yourself a great off season. All right, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
too.
And again, think about it. You guys are champions. That's a great thing. That's pretty cool.
Hey, Steven, go wild.
Hey, there you go.
I forgot we're division rivals here,
we
so
are,
I was just like, I don't want to be. It's way too early to be like, check the standings.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Well, you know, it's
they
funny.
could go 1-9 this month for all I know.
Yeah,
the Jets. So
Johnny Gibson and I, we usually have a beer on every game. We text each other, whether it be the Penguins or the Vikings and the Steelers, and I'm one up on you, Johnny. There you go. I love it. Again, thanks to our guests, Dustin Strand and Cole Schill, NLRA 2024 champ and second in NLRA points. Also, we've got the Fergus Falls track champion with Cole, and, of course, River City Speedway champion with Dustin Strand. Stephen Lewis, my co-host, thank you so much for coming in today again, buddy.
thanks for having me.
Our show today is brought to you by Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. They are right across the hallway here. In fact, they're having a big sports card memorabilia show. They'll be buying, selling, trading. It is this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4. Not going to be in the mall this time. It's going to be at Ramada by Wyndham. That's at 1205 North 43rd Street, South Grand Forks. You want to find out more? Email Bill Tyrell, Tyrell@umn.edu, or call them at 701-740-5278. Or stop in, get yourself some lunch, get a $7 sandwich and a side today. Talk to BT, said, hey, I need to know more about this big sports card memorabilia show. What a great place. Rumor Sports Bar and Casino here in the Grand Cities Mall. All right, big screens, TV streams, are they on it today?
No.
Okay, none of that. Brew Brothers, are they on tonight? None of that either. I knew I forgot to ask these guys something. Okay, have a great day, everybody. Happy Halloween. Be careful out there, kids. Especially be careful, all right? We'll catch you in the AM. Remember to like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. Thanks to all the guys for coming in here again today. We know the Forks are awesome. Well, Grand Forks' best source is giving the Forks an identity again.